Y'all back in the house. What's good, y'all?
Hey, hey. Coming to y'all early today. It's midget early.
Had to do it early today, y'all. We ain't even let y'all know, so that's our fault. We're going to the little hip-hop orchestra tonight at T-Pack.
My baby is taking me on a date. My baby is taking me on a date. I'm so excited.
Little Valentine's Day joint, y'all.
Yes.
Happy Valentine's, man. How was Valentine's? Let us know.
Well,
how'd it go?
I'm going to tell you, I had one of the best Valentines
It was
in a long
good
time.
Valentine's.
Yeah. We were able to go to Grand Ole Opry and celebrate Mike and Tanya, better known as the Warren Treaty, on their duets night.
Yep.
And also celebrating the release of their new album called Plus One. If you don't have it, if you haven't heard of the Warren Treaty,
y'all gotta go check out the Warren Treaty. Download that album, Plus One.
It is so good. So we did that. We went to the after party after
the Palace, did a
hung
little
out
line dancing.
Yeah, I learned how to twirl a little bit. The little ladies. Hey, listen. If y'all don't go to some of these honky tonks in Nashville and places like that, it's a time to be had. So don't ever feel like you don't belong in a space. You know, sometimes you take yourself out of
I'm gonna bust up
good
in the
time. You get yourself out of a good time every time when you don't show up in places just because you don't think you're supposed to be there.
Man,
you need to go.
All that. Hey, listen, dude. The Palace was cool. Everybody's cool. The drinks are on point. Everybody's ready to teach you how to do the line dances. If you don't know how to do it, it's a blast.
It is. It is. A time was had there. A time was had at the Opry. So that was our Valentine's. I got beautiful roses from my boo thing. All kind of little loving. We did all of the things. And we had no children this weekend. Nobody. We had the house to ourselves.
You can walk around naked.
Yeah, so it's
with the door open.
Listen, this is the first time we done put on clothes since Friday. We've had
y'all
a
lucky.
great time.
Yes. Got bottoms on.
Yes, we got bottoms on today. So we really did have a good time, and I hope for all of you folks out there that you had a very good Valentine's too.
Yep.
You know, and apologies for not being with y'all guys for the last few weeks. Life been lifing. Every Sunday we've had something that we had to do.
Yeah, but Super Bowl.
Yeah, Super Bowl.
Okay.
We watched the Grammys.
Everybody's watching Grammys, so y'all forgive us for that.
Right, yeah. Because Beyonce won
Oh
Album of the Year. Woo, 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 woo. I'm loving it.
You talking about the captain of the Beehive.
I'm so excited. I'm so excited that she won Album of the Year. So we got to watch that.
Yep.
So we're back. And, you know, one subject matter that we've been wanting to tackle really kind of since the holidays, you know, is something that we don't really talk about. We try to keep the energy light when we come to you guys and positive and happy. And we still will today, but to a certain degree, but we have some serious things that we want to discuss with you. And, you know, baby, even thinking about Valentine's Day, it can be depressing for people. You know, any of those holidays where you feel like you should have people around you and you don't, it can be torturous. Suicides go up tremendously around Thanksgiving, Christmas, and I would probably guess even, you know, Valentine's Day, because it's hard, you know, to be by yourself sometimes if that's not what you want to be.
Right.
And I say that because some people are completely happy. You know, solitude is the name of the game for them. But if you're a person who wants to be around other people, then it can be really, really, really tough. Yeah. And, you know, in the last few weeks, I've lost people that I've known through work and just personal relationships. Some folks I hadn't talked to, seen in years. You know, other folks I had seen not too long ago. All of them seemed really, really happy. You know, really, really successful. Seemed like they had everything in their life they needed.
Right.
And, you know, it was tough to learn that we had lost some folks. Yeah. And they had passed away because they had taken their own life. And there are some misnomers out there. You know, sometimes people say that black people don't do it. You know, that's a lie.
That's a lie.
Black people do. Live restricted for, I can't say that word.
Oh.
I can't say the S word. So
y'all know what the
TikTok,
S word is now.
Y'all know.
All right.
Sometimes they say unalived. They unalived themselves.
Keep
that's
on
just
pushing
so
the boundary. They're going to put it on a pop-up up there.
Right. But we have to talk about it, whether they're trying to restrict our content or not, because it's really important for people who are in a relationship to start thinking about how they can show up for each other.
Right.
And so before I get too deep into the subject matter, I want to give a couple of statistics that I think are important to share. Men who are aged 45 to 54 have the highest rates of harming self-harming themselves.
Rates.
Yeah.
We did good.
Those rates significantly increase in that age group. It's around 27 per 100,000 men. Men that are 75 and older also have very high rate. Those are usually due to isolation and health issues. You know, if somebody is really, really sick, sometimes they're like, no, let me out. Right. In terms of race, white men have the highest rates compared to other racial groups. Black men have a lower rate overall, but it's been increasing over the last several years. So I wanted to talk about that. And then Hispanic men also show rising rates. Women typically have very, very low rates. It's not that it doesn't happen, but it does not happen nearly at the rate that it does for men. And I wanted you to kind of unpack that a little bit, just from your perspective. Okay. And then economic status. So men who have lower economic status often face higher rates, and that's something that surprised me, because the people who I have been around that's impacted, that wasn't necessarily the case. And unemployed men have rates 3 to 4 times higher. And then men with lower income brackets, they have mental health issues, which can lead to that. And some of that is just not having access to the care that you need. So let's get into it a little bit. And you know, we're here for you guys. If you have some questions, please put them in the comments and we'll try to answer them. I can't necessarily see them.
We got y'all pushed back a little bit.
Y'all kind of far back.
That's all right, we're gonna get it done.
My baby has incredible vision.
It's starting to happen now.
So one thing I just want to start by asking you. I gave you those statistics from your perspective, because you have a bunch of different male groups that you are around.
Yes.
A bunch of them, you know. And because he's a chameleon and he finds his way wherever you put him, he's good like that. But from your perspective, why do you think we're seeing this a lot more?
I don't think it's a lot more than it's been before. I think we have access to more information, and we are now able to understand how much is happening versus the information we had before. But with it happening at all, you know, we need to unpack a couple of things with the lower economic status when it comes to men. You know, men are typically the breadwinners, or should be the breadwinners, right? So let's start understanding what that impact is.
Okay,
right?
yeah.
When you're, you know, in a relationship or you have children, you know, the primary institution is we rely on dad to provide, or the husband to provide. So with that being the case, you're already carrying weight on your shoulders day to day, right? Then we have variances of what type of men we're talking about. We have men that are coming out of college who think that, hey, I got my degree now. I know without a shadow of a doubt, I'm going to come in here, I'm going to get out here, have a great job, make the money I'm supposed to make, and boom, the world changes, right? You have men that have been incarcerated for several years, right? Some have gotten their degrees and while they were incarcerated and bettered themselves while they were in with the same hopes that when I get out of here, I'm going to hit the ground running and I'm going to make something of myself. I'm going to, build a foundation for me, my children, my wife, whatever the case may be. And they're met with that, right? In other scenarios, you have people coming out of something expecting to be able to find themselves in a pocket of availability with a vast amount of work, with a vast amount of money. Economically, men are hit with beyond economics, but the emotional part of being the responsible party to take care of us. We all see the impact that economics are happening to us right now.
Yeah.
You can't go buy bread and eggs and make an egg sandwich for less than $20.
Our light bill was $674. I'm looking at you in this. How?
Right? And we're going to be calling y'all soon. And y'all got some answering to do, right? Yeah. But again, we were able to handle that.
Yeah.
But what if that gentleman wasn't?
Yeah.
And what if he wasn't again? And then again? And now he's got these big eyes on him. And then you don't want to let your lady down. And you're still trying to be Superman to your children and your community on top of that. Just like you said, we are chameleons a lot of times. Men are. Right? And the same to go with women, but specifically just talking about the men. Y'all don't see the tears that are happening in our cars. Right? When we're trying. And sometimes the trying is, we don't know how the hell we about to do it. We're praying. We're on our knees.
Right.
We're saying God. We're saying universe. We're saying Allah. We're saying whatever. Step in.
Right.
And when we don't see that step in, that's when the doubt, the self-doubt starts to happen, right? And compacted with that, men don't talk about the issues that are happening mentally anyway.
Let me ask you, how does social media play into that for men? Does it for men the way it does for women? Because we compare ourselves to the pretty women that we see all the time.
Absolutely. It's worse for men, if you ask me.
Okay, talk about it.
Because women, we see women all the time. And then we see beautiful. We see women evolving. We see women in excellence with their careers. And we see women, exploding with this, exploding with that. And you see a group of men that look like they got it all. We see the Snoop Dogs. Right. We see the Denzels. We see, and some men don't understand, brother, you ain't got to be that.
Right.
Right? But still, they'll in-house that pressure of, man, I got to get to that because they're seeing that Mercedes. They're seeing these big houses. They're seeing the trips. They're seeing the Louis Vuitton bags when it's Valentine's Day for the ladies. And they're saying, dang, I need to be doing that. I asked you the other day, is this that important to you?
And what did I say?
You know what? Not really, because Valentine's is on a Tuesday for no reason. On July 12th.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's not that important to us because we show up, right? But for the gentlemen who don't have someone that feel like they're showing up for them because they're not providing financially. And when they're not providing financially, then they may not be providing emotional wealth, right? They may not be showing up in different places because they're out here trying to figure these parts out. Now, mentally, they got chains on them. Now, that mental plague is now hindering them from being able to activate over here the way they should. No, let me get out here and be a part of what the kids got going on. Oh, baby girl got danced. Let me get over here. But because his mind is so stuck in what he's seeing social media-wise, right? And so now we're in this hamster wheel. Right. And sometimes all we got to do is just get off and say, let me detach from that and let us focus on this. Right. And with that same dynamic, we sometimes inflict ourselves with that. Because we don't get our ladies involved with what we have going on, and we don't use our ladies' superpowers. The ladies, y'all have so many superpowers that we don't have, right? Y'all are very well versed on certain things that we don't do well at. And when we can't put that transformer together, right, or bring that Voltron unit together, now we're out here dangling and trying to fight this war by ourselves. Right. So again, the mental struggle with men is typically because we are bred to believe or led to believe that we are the super dynamic of all things.
Mm-hmm. So, given the fact that for many men, you are expected to be the provider, the protector. You're supposed to be able to take care of all of these things, especially if you get with a woman in her soft girl era, right? And she's like, no, I'm looking at you. I'm expecting you to show up in all of these ways. What do you believe for men could, because I can tell you from a woman's perspective, I believe my job is to nurture it and fix it, right? Most women, the reason why we are like, well, what's wrong is because we're trying to understand what's happening so that we can spring into action and fix it.
Right.
And I understand that we can't always fix it, but that's where we believe we're supposed to show up. We are supposed to show up that way. And when we are shut down, a lot of times we're like, okay, well, you don't want my help.
Right.
Or I don't want to be another burden.
Right.
Or, you won't talk to me. I don't feel heard. I don't feel like you want me to hear you. I don't feel like you have emotions enough to activate with me the way I need you to. Like all of those things may be at play. So from your perspective, how would a woman show up if you are in a dark place to at least understand? Or how can we know that you're in a dark place? Because a lot of times we don't see it. You just said you cry in the car. So by the time you walk in the house, hey, babe, what's happening? How are you? That come give me a kiss. Like, well, you don't have to ask because I run up on you all the time. But you get the point. How do we know?
Well, that's by knowing your person and understanding how to handle your person. Okay. I was talking to one of my good friends and hell of a businessman and got it out of the mud, picked himself from his bootstraps. And the gentleman was saying, man, this has been a tough time for me. And I was like, well, man, have you talked to your wife? Because I know she's a dynamic woman. She's a go-getter. From the time I met her, she's been that, right? And he was like, nah, man, I really don't even want to tell her because I need to figure this out. And again, he said, and man, she's asking me what's wrong, and I tell her everything is cool.
That's frustrating, man, for a woman.
Right, it is. But the best thing sometimes is letting us get to a point where we done hit a wall. Now, that's tough. It's very, very tough. And sometimes when we hit that wall, and you guys, and we don't have a choice but to say, baby, this is what's happening, and I need, can you help me with? And you do that willingly, not going back and saying, well, I asked you what was wrong. I asked you what was going on. Why you just now telling me? Why is it that you can't talk to me? When we're met with that, you done heard us. But when we're ready, just receive us, right? Receive it with an open invitation. Say, I've been waiting on you. Thank you for letting me in now, right? We weren't really, a lot of us weren't trained to ask nobody. I used to tell you all the time, right? If I needed something, who the hell do I ask? Right? Because I've been so self-sufficient. I've been the type to, I'm going to figure it out, right? And I remember when I asked, I'm like, who do I ask? Who the heck can I call and say, bro, you got 500, you can throw me until. Right. Like, I really had to ask myself, right?
Because they definitely call you.
I get the calls, right? But with that being said, it's like, it's not that nothing's wrong. We're so innate with trying to figure it out.
I don't want to I'm so sorry.
And it's not that we don't want that. We feel a lot of times that just give us some time, we'll figure it out.
So one thing I have tried to do that I think has helped is just to encourage you to talk to me. Encourage that open dialogue. And I say that because even if you say I should wait for you to hit the wall, for somebody out here, that wall is unalive.
Yes.
Right? They may never open their mouth. And for me, I can't wait on that.
And again, that's when you really knowing your person. like I told you, you know, I thought the unalive thing, you know, I mean, I went through hell, you know, I went through some things that I hope nobody go through as a businessman, as someone out here really trying to get it. I hope they don't ever experience that, because I had that mental breakdown where I was like, man, screw it. You know what I'm saying? And it are those soft voices, you know, it is that rub on the back. It is that, no, I'm here. No, I need you. No, we gonna figure this out, right? And so, again, you have to really give your person that real assurance that we are going to get through this. We are going to talk about these things. You have a safe place. I am in this with you. Because there's a lot of marriages out here that are still individual living, if that makes sense. You know, we were watching Soul Food the other day. And when
we've been in a throwback of other 90s movies.
When old girl said only it's 137,000, only 65,000 something are yours. He was like, tomorrow we're getting separate accounts.
Right.
That's our money.
Right.
That's what we earn.
Right.
Right. And so when you're living individually and you don't have that complete understanding that we are marching together, what we say, one band, one sound. You know, and it really, and with that real man that's got that dog in him, it's like, man, I'm determined to win. I'm determined to make this successful for us. I'm determined to be somebody. You really have to show yourself in a way to where he knows that is my other offensive coordinator. That is the co-founder of this establishment. And we're so sensitive sometimes that even when we know that about y'all, and we get into our own dark places, man, we go right back into that. We by ourselves. I knew she wasn't down. Well, I was just waiting on the moment, you know. But we gotta also remember y'all are human too. And so, but again, I think really for the men to understand that we can reduce these numbers is really understanding that you chose well with the person that you're with.
Yeah, because you know, here's the thing. You guys put expectations on yourselves that we are not putting on you, right?
I can't speak for everybody.
I won't speak for everybody, but I can tell you for sure that in the conversations I have with women, they're not asking me for their husbands to provide more stuff. I don't get those conversations. When I talk to my friends, my sister-in-laws, my riders, that ain't what they asking for. And I want to separate what you might see on Pop the Balloon from what happens out here in the real world, right?
Well,
and I'm gonna tell you this.
Okay.
I know people who are working themselves to death, and they are providing on a very, very, very high level, right? In terms of fiduciary responsibility. They bringing in all the money, right? But their wife is sitting there saying, I really would like to just see you. I really would like when you come home
and we spend time.
That we spend some time together.
And we talk.
I really would like us to just play games with the kids together.
But that's that world pressure.
It
right?
is.
That perpetuating world pressure that the man is supposed to,
But
right?
that's why I would say open communication.
Open communication, and sometimes I believe therapy
100%
is so necessary.
It is necessary.
With getting that kind of understanding.
Yeah.
Because, you know, it takes somebody else stepping in to say, well, how are y'all handling these segments of your lives?
Let me tell you
where
this.
do you place these quandaries of importance?
You know the best thing about this Valentine's weekend?
What was that?
From Friday, the time that you got off from work, until right this second, there has not been a second that you didn't spend with me. We've watched movies. We've laid up in the bed. We ate cookies that you made. You remember to get some. He is the best chocolate chip cookie maker. We ate chips. You told me my breath stank.
Woo! Jalapeno.
Because I love jalapeno kettle chips. Lay's, thank you very much. I'm going to eat them every day.
They good, but they stink.
I don't care.
She all up in here.
I don't care. I don't care. You didn't spend no money on that. You didn't spend a penny.
Yeah, I did. Them light bill.
The light bill. But, other than that.
Right.
Listen, the roses are beautiful. The card was really, really sweet. But the time had the weekend of my life.
But again, how many women are expressing this?
I'm telling you,
Listen,
I'm not by myself.
I'm not saying you are, but do we have enough of us expressing it? Not only the men, but the women to the man. We got to really start expressing these things because that holds so much value. And it lets us know, every time it's time to go hoop Tuesday and Saturday, yes. I'm there. I didn't go Tuesday, I didn't go Saturday. I spend time with you, right? We had things to do,
right.
But at the end of the day, there are a lot of people not verbalizing these things.
But baby, I'm telling you.
I'm not saying that it's not happening.
I know that, but listen, honey. I'm telling you.
You're right, Jane. She is rare. She's an anomaly.
I'm telling you. I have said that in past relationships. Okay? I have said that. I have said I don't like breakfast.
I understand.
And so just saying it sometimes don't line up with the other person. And it's not just for men or just for women. I'm talking about when you communicating with a person and the person you're communicating with have an idea of what they think it takes or an idea of how they want to do it. Sometimes they don't listen, right? They're not paying attention to that because they're in their mind, I'm giving you everything. I'm going above. You know how many men don't bring breakfast to bed?
Right, but that's someone who's not an active listener.
True.
They're acting on impulse.
True, but a lot of people are not. Sometimes I'm not. Sometimes you're not because you're busy, right?
Yeah.
And so for all of us, men, women, it doesn't matter. We need to be actively engaged when we're talking to each other so you can understand. You're not going to always tell me when you're upset. You continue to always say that's knowing your person, right? You got to know your person. That means you got to actively participate at all times with your person. Right. So you can understand, so you can read their face, so you can read the energy in the room, so you can read all of those things, whether you decide to talk to us or not, right? Whether you decide to open your mouth or not. Right.
And you're right, Julian. Communication, listening to understand for your spouse. A lot of times we're just listening, not even listening, we're just hearing, right? It turns into a noise, but it's also the delivery. How are you delivering the information to your person, right? I told you I don't like breakfast in bed. God dang, I told you more than one time. Ooh, so now you just said it again, but it sounds like wah, 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 wah.
Well, it gets to wah, 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 wah after that 10th time.
I get it. And it should at that point, right? It's okay.
Because the first time, I can assure you that a person is not going, they're going to come to you like this, right? They're going to come like this. This was so sweet. I really appreciate this. But for me, if you did like dinner, that would be so dope. Like just me and you sitting down for dinner. I'm not a breakfast eater. And you might not have known that, but I'm really not. Okay, here comes Mother's Day. We got breakfast again. Here comes my birthday. We got breakfast again.
So can I give you a caveat?
Sure.
9 times out of 10, he probably forgot to do something anyway. And the first thing that popped up in his head was, ooh, I'm going to make a breakfast. And Cole forgot. She done said, I don't like it. Now, not your fault. But he in a panic at that very moment. Shit, I forgot it's such and such day. Ooh, you know what? Ooh, bank account. Ooh, $75. I got some eggs, got some bacon.
How about a picnic basket? Anything.
And that panic set in and he just clean forgot.
You think about how many holidays it is in one year.
Hey, I get it. I'm going to give some allowance and grace to say, it may have been a forgotten notion. Now, after that one forget, you really, really responsible at that point, right? So I get what you're saying. And I also say that a lot of times in situations like that, a lot of men aren't creative.
And you know, I'm not asking men to do anything.
But the communication extra, with hearing is very important. Right. Understand me. Listen to me. Mm-hmm. And I want to make sure I'm listening to you, because like a fear of mine is not showing up the right way, and you feeling unsafe to talk to me, and you are going through something horrible, and then I come home. Right. You know, I can't live with that. And now we're talking about incompatibility in relationships, right? Because now we've hit different walls on each side, right? Yeah. And when you start having those separations, now you're in a panic trying to climb back to the top and figure it out. And when you feel like you're ice skating up a slippery slope, right? Or ice skating uphill, it's now creating more pressure. I'm glad we're talking about this, because we're circling back around to these causes of this Superman with this pressure. Yeah. And when they feel like they're not meeting the mark, and it's happening over and over and over again, right? Now I've forgotten this again. Dang, she did say she ain't like that, and I done screwed up and did it again, and now she feeling some kind of way, feeling like she's not being heard, listened to, understood. Now this pressure, I got debt, I got these things, I slipped up and failed this qualification, I didn't pass the board, now I can't move up the echelon to do X, Y, and Z. Pressure.
So maybe one of the things should be adjusting expectations, right? And I say that because who do you want to be really? Like, who do you really want to be? Well, do you want to be who you think I want you to be? Or can you be who you really are?
Or did you present yourself as who you really are to begin with?
And you know, the interesting thing, baby, is this age. 45 to 54, many men either have been married or are married, have kids, their kids are teenagers or they're getting grown, unlike us still with a 6-year-old. But anyway, you know, the stakes are very high at that age, and especially at 54, because now you're thinking, have I provided?
Have I set myself up for later on? And I'm gonna say this age range,
45 to 54.
I'm gonna say most of these are entrepreneurs. And the reason I say that is because entrepreneurs struggle with setting up for retirement.
That, and I have to say, 2 of the people I know were in high-powered positions. So they weren't entrepreneurs, but they were high-powered positions. Now I would like to think they had, but who knows? I don't know what else was cooking. Right. You know, I don't know what else was cooking. But that's why I say, and let me just take one step back. I don't want to give anybody that's listening to us, that is within the sound of my voice, the impression that it is your responsibility to keep a person from harming themselves, because ultimately you can't. It doesn't have that much to do with you and what you are providing to a person. I need to be clear when I say that, because I don't want anybody walking around with a burden of believing that there was something you could have done to prevent it. What I will say is that sometimes being present enough to understand that a person is in a mental crisis, and them having enough faith in you and you having enough faith in yourself to be comfortable with the fallout if you call the people and say, hey, I need to bring my person in to the hospital because they are not well right now, right? I'm worried about them. You got to be comfortable with the fallout. Yeah. But aside from that, yes, show up. Yes, encourage these open communications, but also recognize the signs. when somebody starts withdrawing from activities that all of a sudden you didn't want to be at the basketball court anymore, out of the blue. You just decide, I don't want to do this anymore. And you ain't got into it with anybody. Like, it ain't no reason for it. You just are withdrawing from things you really like to do. Or I start perceiving changes in your mood. You have always been kind of happy-go-lucky, and now you're a sad sack walking around. Or you've always been kind of a pessimist, but all of a sudden you up, out of nowhere. These changes in sleep, you're not eating or you're overeating. If you recognize any of these signs with your significant other, that's a time where you need to be very, very compassionate, and be able to validate your person's feelings. Right. You know, you saying knowing your person. If I know you, I know when your eating habits have changed. I know when your sleeping habits have changed. I know when you're not going and doing the things you typically did to bring you joy. And what I would say to any person whose person is exhibiting those types of behaviors in a calm type of way, you need to start encouraging therapy. You need to start encouraging, and you may say, let's do it together.
Less. I was about to say, use better words.
Right.
Less.
You need to say, hey, and take it on for yourself, man. I've been feeling away. I feel like maybe I need to go and talk to somebody.
Right.
How do you feel? You know?
Right.
Because the other thing, people don't like to feel like something is wrong. Even when they know it's wrong, they don't want to put a name to it. Christians in particular, because people will say, don't put nothing negative out there. Don't claim that. Don't claim that. Well, if you're going through it, own it. And so you can go get fixed, right? Go get it fixed. Go talk to somebody about it.
But I also include that with friendship as well.
Yeah, talk about it.
You know, if you notice these changes in your friends, start asking questions. Girl, what's going on? Oh. Hey, homie, what's good? You know, I notice these things. You know, shout out to Gary Taylor too, man. I stay on my boy about, let's make sure we stay up on our health. Mike Maynard, he calls me all the time. One of the things we do every conversation, how's your health? You know, but I always post, or every now and then y'all will see a post, I'm saying check on your strong friends, right? Because these gentlemen that we're talking about, high-powered machines, you know, and I'm pretty sure they the ones that get the phone calls for help all the time, right? So check on people, you know, be a responsible friend. Don't be that friend that just get off the phone when you know something is different. You know, we had a gentleman, and shout out to Dwayne Crockett for creating a group called Man Chat. Also, shout out to Ty Garth, the whole fatherhood group. Same thing with Corey Bill. You know, one of the things that happened not long ago, we had a brother really express himself. And it shook the group. Shout out to Tony Woodard, because the next thing you know, I get a call saying, yo, what you doing? Bruh said, I'm heading your way. I said, I'm waiting on you. We ain't wait on nothing else. We found out this brother's address and we showed up. We showed up, knocking on his door. We didn't move until he came to that door. He waited about 15 minutes before he came and opened that door. And that changed the whole dynamic. I had never met this brother. Never met this brother. But being that we're all in this group, we were all connected.
Social media group.
Okay, social media group, right? And so what I'm saying to us is it's beyond just a relationship. If you recognize these signs, let's not allow these signs to supersede our actions. Okay? If we recognize these things, it is time for us to engage. We get so many social media posts where we're watching something happening and everybody's standing around with their phones collecting footage and nobody's engaging, right? They're just watching it happen. Just put these daggone phones down. Let's be humans, okay? But I say all that to circle back around and say we have the ability to lower these numbers individually.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead. No, you boiling. Go ahead.
I am. Because I didn't think I would ever say this in an open dialogue like this, but you made me feel like I needed to share. Years ago, my father passed away. And I struggled with that. I struggled with it for a very, very long time. And stress and struggle can make your mental health manifest in different types of ways.
Absolutely.
And the way that it manifested in me is through an eating disorder. Mm-hmm. And so nobody knew. I was married at the time, had kids. Nobody could tell because I've always been small, right? I've never been heavy at all. And so nobody really paid attention. And I would go days and not eat. Days and not eat. For me, it wasn't that I was looking in the mirror and seeing an overweight person. It wasn't that I had body dysmorphia of any kind. That's not why it manifested in me. I have been diagnosed with anorexia. I'm a recovering anorexic. I've been in treatment. I'm no longer actively anorexic. I do all the things right. But my friend Lena, mm-hmm. we were at lunch one day.
And you said it like Lena said it too.
I was just scooting my food around on the plate. So it would look like because that was like my trick. That's how I would do it. I would just like look like I was eating, and we talking, and I'm just moving stuff around so it'll look like something had happened. And Mama, if you watching, excuse my cuss words. I'm just stirring that around. And Lena looked at me and she said, Bitch, what are you doing? And I said, I'm eating. And she said, no, you're not. Get up. Get up. Mm-hmm. We went to the bathroom. Mm-hmm. And she snatching me. Never forget it. We were in a pizza place. Mm-hmm. She snatching me. No, I love pizza. She's snatching me, and we make it into the bathroom, and she snatches my shirt up. Mm. And she said, what the fuck have you done to yourself? Mm. At that point, I was 75 pounds.
Wow.
I'm little now, and I weigh 120. So you can imagine what I must have looked like at 75 pounds. Wow. My friend Lena said to me, either you can tell your family or I can tell your family. Mm-hmm. But we fixing to tell them right now. Mm-hmm. She called out of work, didn't go back, left my car in the parking lot. She didn't even trust me to drive and tell the truth. Mm. She told me I don't trust you at all. She didn't have no compassion for her sister. No, she didn't.
Oh, she did.
She had very, very strong, hard, mean love. Got me home. Told my husband at the time, you looking at this broad every day. You don't see this? Mm-hmm. You don't see what this looks like? And poor him, he was like, she said she was okay. Mm. Wow. She's always been thin. Mm. She said she was okay. And I don't say that to throw him under the bus. Right. But sometimes, I'm saying this because sometimes when you look at it every day, you don't notice. Mm-hmm. You don't notice what's going on with your person. That's why friendships are important. Right. That's why. Because my friend saved my life.
You know, and I know we say all the time, this is my best friend. Mm-hmm. Right? We talk about everything, mm-hmm. no matter what. And while we're sharing, all of you entrepreneurs out there really trying to get it, trying to figure this thing out, man, these struggles are very real, you know. I went through a hell of a situation, man, that completely broke me, you know, and I'm glad that we're sharing and we will be your open books, man. Mm-hmm. That's one thing about us, man. We're going to keep it 100 on here. We're going to keep it real because we need y'all to keep it real with yourselves, keep it real with your spouse, keep it real with your family and friends, man. We got to be here for each other. Mm-hmm. But that situation left me in a really funky headspace, man, where you had a kid who grew up without a lot, you know, who really busted his ass to get to where he was and finally had a chance and was really doing pretty good with it, right? And because of other people's greed, I got caught in some mess, man, and didn't have nothing to do with me. And so losing opportunities and losing the ability to take care of you, your children, your family, everybody that you had it in your mind that I will always take care of these people, man, it left me in a funk, okay? And I want y'all to know, y'all ain't the only ones feeling that way, that have felt that way, and sometimes we don't know what's ahead of us. A lot of times, man, baby asked me last night, if you had the ability to go to the future or the past, which one would you do? And I told her, the future to handle itself. Let me go back and talk to that kid who was in the basement, who know what he was getting ready to do to himself, and say, hey, bro, this in here, this up here is way bigger than what's ever been taken away. Okay? But let's work on you first. Okay? What are some things that you need to handle with you? Let's take everybody else out of the equation. Let's take everybody else off the table. Let's talk about you, Corey. Right? It is hard sometimes, y'all. But I promise you, the brilliance that got you where you are is the same brilliance that'll get you out of the mess that you may be in as well. Okay? Call, pick up the phone. I had a young lady hit us up a few weeks ago, as a matter of fact. Just saw us on social media, and I'm actually one of her customers. Didn't even know she was watching, man. I frequent her restaurant. And just start hitting me up, saying, man, it's hard. And I'm fighting demons. I got all these things happening to me, you know. And my whole thing is saying, I'm here to listen. Allow yourself to express. Sometimes it could be a stranger, but find somebody. Find somebody to talk to. Man, we're not doing this for no fame. We ain't doing this. We ain't making no money on this. Let's be clear. No. We give more books away than we done ever sold. Let's be clear. Okay?
Yes.
All right? We're a resource. There are resources for us. People that have gone through things, people that are feeling things that are not normal mentally, that they've never felt before. We have people that are losing people and trying to figure out, how do I deal with this feeling because my person is gone and I feel alone, my mama's gone, my dad's gone, my child is gone. We are dealing with real life situations, and we have to understand we have resources, and it's up to us to use it. Fathers out here trying to figure this out. That are in and out of court, trying to fight for their children. You have mothers out here trying to figure these things out. How am I going to do this all by myself? My nephew, DeAntoine, is a part of a nonprofit that is out here specifically for single moms. Okay?
Let's talk about it.
DeAntoine is here. I saw him chime in.
Well, I know who probably isn't, and that's my daughter. What I'll tell you, it's hard being parents. It's hard. And it's hard to show up for your children the way your children want you to show up for them when they can't show up for themselves the way they have to. I love every single one of mine, all 6 of them, and the 2 grandbabies. But we ain't always okay with each other. It's not always okay. And I know it's some other mothers out here. I need you to know it ain't always okay. Sometimes they're buttholes. Sometimes they treat you real bad. Sometimes you treat them bad. Sometimes you a butthole. We're not perfect. No one is. But you know what? You do the best you can.
That's it.
You do the best you can. Every single time. I show up the best I can.
And stop allowing people to take advantage of your best.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to tell y'all something. Mama, forgive me. I've been doing real good with this cussing thing on here because I'm a cusser, y'all. It's like a period, an exclamation point.
Just say the word. Just say like the letter, the first letter.
Sometimes you got to say F them.
Mm-hmm.
And that don't mean just your kids. I mean everybody else too.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? We got to take care of self first.
You got to.
We ain't good for nobody if we ain't taking care of ourselves first.
You can't pour from an empty cup.
You cannot pour from an empty cup.
Mm-mm.
Man, you got so many marriage resources out here, man. I love it, man. I see so many marriage groups out here supporting marriage.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't know, Micah, Monique, Tony, E got their marriage social media group, us, the Marriage Club.
Right.
I mean, listen, man, we got resources. We have these S-word prevention resources. We have fatherhood resources. We have motherhood resources. And these collaborations are so necessary. We try to support everybody we can that are doing something positive as it pertains to relationships, fatherhood, motherhood, community. We try to support everybody.
Yes.
Danielle Gibson.
Yes, love her. Black people
Portia from over at
Be Social.
Keena Sadler.
Yes.
Anybody that's got something positive. Listen, man, there's no excuse for feeling completely alone. Let me say that. All right? And I'm going to say that because, yes, we do have resources, but we don't trust everything. And I'm so sick of us as black people saying, man, I ain't getting down with them black people. And I've been a victim of saying that too. So let me be clear. Because we don't show up for each other the way we want to. We want us to, right? And we can do better with that, right? But all the black love that I see, and all the black resources that not only black people have clinged to, I see white people, I see Asian people, I see Spanish, man. Like, I see this happening. We are all sick and tired of this social media drag out session about us being against each other.
Yes.
Right?
Man, listen, we went to the palace. I just need to say this out loud. I told Corey, my Facebook, I don't know what's wrong. Y'all might be having the same thing I got, but I don't never see y'all's posts. I know I have over 4,000 friends, and at least half of them I know personally. I don't see none of y'all stuff. And it's frustrating to me because I have to go and look it up to see what y'all got going on. I see CNN. I see what Trump just did. I see what, Kanye done spouted out. I'm seeing foolishness all the time, every day, all day. And it would make you believe that it's about to be a war of race any second now. You would truly believe that people don't love each other at all. We went to the palace. This is a honky-tonk, okay? It's a honky-tonk right beside Grand Ole Opry, basically. It might have been, I'm sure it was probably 200-300 people in there. Out of that 200-300 people, probably about 8 black people. Including us.
And Warren Treaty.
The Warren Treaty, Daytine, Gina, we all in there. Them people loved us. Like, they teaching me how to dance.
Right. I had a scary moment. I had probably one of the biggest white guys I've ever seen in my life. With a big old 10-gallon hat on. We actually leaving.
We walking out.
I'm going to call him, bro. This brother stopped me. And I said, God damn
Here we go.
I got 2 options. I'm going to bite him. I'm going to kick him in the meat. Then I can work everything else out.
Right.
But he said to me, you have got to be one of the best looking guys I've ever seen in my life.
I concur.
And I looked at him and said, who you telling?
Because he was
a big old hawk in this joint. Big 6'7", big, well built. I'm like, you a big good looking dude too.
Yeah, boy, baby.
Right? And I'm like, damn.
So he's standing there talking to him. Same thing at the Grand Ole Opry.
Yeah.
These are spaces that the social media, the news, places like that will tell you, hey, you got to be safe. You can't go over there. They don't like you over there. It's not the truth.
Man, look, we lying. They lying to us.
They lying to keep us apart.
We know some things to be true, but it ain't what they putting out
like
there,
that.
man. And I have to say that to us, man. We are so pitted against each other, and we see these numbers of these rates, and it's all because they're separating and dividing what we know to be true.
Yes.
Right? You know, and I talk to our moms, you know, we hear them say, it's worse now than it's ever been. Well, that's a lie.
Ain't worse than slavery.
It ain't worse now. But what's happened is they know that we have so much access to one another, and they have to understand how to infiltrate that, and that's leaking into our marriages. It's leaking into our relationships with our children. It's leaking into society and our communities to where now we're adopting the lie as if it's our truth.
And it's not.
And it's not.
Lean into your lived experiences. When I lean into my lived experience, I think about going to the palace. I think about going to Grand Ole Opry.
Yeah.
I think about going to Plaza Mariachi.
Yeah, man. Thank you, Plaza Mariachi. Nashville, no TC.
Nashville, no TCS. Oh, I'm going to get that salsa down. If it's the last thing I do, I show up in spaces with people. Some people look like me. Some people don't, but they're good. It's mainly good people in this world, despite what the media will try to tell you. And when Corey and I decided to do this platform and come to you guys every Sunday, our commitment to each other and to you was to not bring you any more negative stuff.
Nah, we got enough funk out here.
It's enough funk out here. We wanted to bring light. We wanted to bring love, joy. We have to talk about hard subjects like the subject matter today.
Yeah.
But when we talk about it, it's solution oriented.
Right.
It's not wallowing in the funk
No.
of 50,000 years.
You
know what I'm saying?
You know, and that's the thing about it, man. I think we've also created platforms and resources that we don't use together. I got a challenge, you know, and my challenge is all these couples and relationship-oriented platforms. I challenge us to start doing outings together.
I love that.
Okay? Y'all know how to get a hold of us. We know how to get a hold to you. And we'll go first.
Yeah.
So, we propose. We do a whole kickball.
Yes.
And we got plenty of time to plan it. Spring's right around the corner.
Yes.
So, for all you grown people, I chose kickball because we could at least do that.
Or flag.
Flag gonna hurt. You already tore your shoulder up, Miss Brown.
That's because that boy tackled and he was supposed to.
And it ain't no possibility of tackling in kickball.
True indeed. True indeed.
I propose a challenge. The challenge is for all of us. I'm calling on Danielle Gibson, Emmanuel Gibson, Portia. I'm calling Keena. I'm calling Micah, Renee Woodard, and Monique Robinson, and E-Dub, and Tony. I'm calling Dwayne Crockett.
And
I'm
Sonia.
talking Sonia. I'm talking all of us. I'm talking Eric Ingram, because you had one of the dopest platforms from volleyball and everything else that was created. I'm calling on everybody right now to do this. I challenge y'all. Now, if we don't, and we're going to get some views, we're going to get some shares, and people going to follow up to see, well, did y'all do it? We got from now until spring to put this thing together. If we're serious about what we're talking about as far as unity in our households, unity in our communities, unity for our children, let's do it.
Yeah.
You know, this is my season for asking for forgiveness and giving grace for other people to be forgiven. Okay? I'm not perfect.
You're perfect for me.
But
that
I'm
song came out
sound
Valentine's Day too.
enough. But I'm sound enough to know that we can change the narrative of what's happening. Man, we work in a peculiar industry, country music. With all this climate circulating around us, with all this division, trying to eliminate diversity, inclusion, equity, all those things, I'm not doing that, man. What I will do is ask my brothers and my sisters in the same fight to forgive me for anything that I've done to make them feel any kind of way. And we start fresh and come up with these dope, viable plans to get in this thing and tear these walls down to where they will never be built up again. And if we're gonna be successful in our households, in our relationships, and be true, we gotta do the same thing at home. Listen, man, these numbers of these rates of people unaliving themselves, it's staggering. It's staggering. And it is real. We got to stand up.
So I wanted to give a couple of tips before we leave that people can do if they see somebody struggling. First thing is open communication. You know, ask them, if I ask you, hey baby, how you doing? And you say, I'm all right, but I know better. I'm going to do a follow-up question, and I might even touch you on the arm and say, no, stop for a second, baby. How are you really feeling?
I might have a little something going on, but right now I ain't ready to talk about it right now, baby. But thank you for asking. It ain't got nothing to do with you, baby.
I understand. I want you to know I'm right here whenever you get ready to talk about it. And please, baby, don't carry nothing on your own. And if I'm not the one, go find somebody that you feel comfortable talking to. Don't bear that burden on your own.
What about that 4-foot little lady I saw at the bus stop the other day?
No. Get a professional.
She might be.
No.
Okay.
That's how you do open communication. Number 2, you want to recognize the signs. Okay. So we talked about it, withdrawing from activities, any changes in the mood, changes in sleep patterns or your appetite. When you do recognize that, be observant, but also be compassionate. Right. You know, don't pull a Lena. Hey, what you doing? No, but it worked. It is effective. It is effective. Hey, but still give some compassion when you're talking to people, when you are recognizing those signs, because they're probably sneaking doing it, right? They don't think that what they're doing, those changes, you can see. I know for me, I didn't think anybody could notice what was going on with me, but somebody did, right? So, go ahead.
No. I was listening.
No, you go to the next one.
Oh, you ready? Okay. Validating feelings. Highlight the importance of validating each other's feelings. Make it clear that it's okay to feel overwhelmed. Hold on. TikTok be doing this. So I got to do this little puzzle piece real quick, y'all. TikTok. Hold on.
I don't know how to make it stop it.
I'm cold with it. Boom. Look at that.
Yeah, you go. You did it, baby.
So, sorry, y'all. I'm gonna read it again. Validating feelings. Highlight the importance of validating each other's feelings. We got to let each other know that it's okay to feel what you're feeling, right? It's okay to be vulnerable, okay?
And also, it might not be able to be fixed, but it is understood.
Right.
Like, even if I can't fix it, I understand.
And it's okay to be overwhelmed, and we can work it out together. We can figure out things, you know? And remind listeners, we're telling us, remind listeners, to not, it's not something, I know, my baby be writing,
the church's money.
That's because you be writing these notes so particular, and I be messing up. My fault, y'all. Okay. Baby, she did it real good. All right. But feelings are not something to be fixed, but understood. Like you said, I'm sorry, I just missed that whole cue.
See, I told you.
We are not perfect, right? That was a whole cue, and I just stepped right over.
He just don't mean
habitual line stepper. All right, go to the next one, baby.
Okay, so
you got to put asterisks around your cues.
No, listen. This is just to keep you where I want you to be.
Well, I missed it.
Okay.
I'm overwhelmed.
I validate those feelings.
It's okay for me to feel this way.
Yes. Okay. So, you know, we talk every week about going and getting therapy. We believe in therapy. When I went through my crisis with the eating disorder, I went through therapy, and Lord Jesus has saved my life. I was able to get a nutritionist. They had so many wraparound services. So let me take a second to talk about that. When you think about going and getting professional help, many times there are going to be some wraparound services that are there too. So it may not just be pills. I know a lot of times people get a little apprehensive of going to get therapy because they're afraid, I don't want to be on no medicine. I heard horror stories about it. So number one, it might not always mean that you need to be medicated. But number two, if you do, the first one might not work. And so you might have to find the right solution, the right combination that works for you. Also with therapy, the first therapist that you talk to might not be a good fit.
Right.
So I really want to encourage you, don't give up on therapy because the first person you went to wasn't a good fit.
And, you know, the first medicine is therapy.
Yeah.
You know, before anything may be prescribed, I mean, understand you've already taken your first dose. You know, making that step.
Yeah.
You know, getting therapy.
Right.
And about like you know, I had never done any kind of therapy, and shout out to Lotta for recommending it.
Right.
And once I went through that, because I was very apprehensive, I'm like, if I know what the problem is, I can fix it.
Right.
You know, but I learned so much about myself.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Things that I didn't realize were triggering from childhood, right? And it just carried over.
Right.
So again, that therapy and that coaching and that counseling, that's the first dose of medicine, right? And I implore anybody, just see. You have nothing to lose by just seeing what's there.
Yeah. And there are tons of free resources out there. So don't let cost be a barrier. If you have insurance, if you have even Obamacare insurance, all of that.
Affordable health care.
Affordable health care, if that's how it needs to hit your ears. You have mental health available in that. And many employers offer EAPs, employee ERPs, employee resource plans, or employee assistance plans where they'll give you 3 to 4 sessions before it even start talking about your insurance.
Listen, then on top of that, some of these musical resources, and I'm going to speak on it, CMA specifically, have resources for mental health for these artists or people in the industry, right?
It was a large donation to a lot of different providers for people who work in the music industry to have resources to mental health. But no matter what your industry is, for sure, you have resources available to you. And so get them. Even if it's picking up the phone, calling a hotline, do it.
Right.
Please, please, please do that first. Also, you want to do the next one? Are you just going to try to read exactly what's there? Or are you going to understand what it's saying and say it?
Emphasize the value of simply being there for each other. Right? I mean, sometimes just sitting in silence, you know what I mean? Or just engaging in just something cool to do. You know what I mean? Like, I like to go bowling. Or we like to go golfing.
Right,
you know?
Love to golf.
We ain't no count, you know what I mean? But we just like doing it, right? And it's something we all can do. And sometimes, man, being in that funk, what you need is to do something, right? Just do something together. And it's so much value in just having that companionship, being near your person, or being near somebody that you care about.
And if you're single, friend, find that friend. You know, the other thing that you can do if you're trying to help your person is help to create a supportive environment. Listen, before our daughter came to experience motherhood, one of the things that we did was Corey suggested that all of the women that she knew who loved her have a brunch and just talk to her about, you know, what you can expect when your body starts changing and things like that, right? One of the reasons why we wanted to do that is because it might not be me that she feels comfortable talking to about certain things, right? We got to let our egos go as partners and best friends, parents, whatever the case may be. You might not be the one that they want to talk to about certain things. So it's very important to encourage and help preserve relationships outside of just you and your person.
Exactly.
Right? Because they may not be the one all the time. Like if you're in a crisis, but you just happen to be mad at your spouse, what are you going to do? You should have other people around you that create that supportive village, if you will, around you that is also encouraging your relationship, also encouraging the health, your own health, your mental health, but the health of your relationship.
Right. You know, and even with that, you know, we also have to discuss the importance of setting boundaries for both partners. Because although it is my responsibility to notice things about you, check on you, it's ultimately your responsibility to take care of your mental health. And you have to take ownership of the things that you know that aren't quite right. Right? Because individually, we know something ain't right. And we hear what's going on up here. You don't. I hear what's going on up here. Right? And we need to sit around and say, look, I'm here for you. And I'm ready to fight. I'm ready to go the distance. But I need for you to also take ownership of what we now know to be an issue. So we now know how to navigate going forward.
Listen, one thing that I will tell anybody, and I heard it, if you all haven't ever listened to Dan Savage's podcast, I love Dan Savage. But one thing that he said many, many, many years ago, and it never left me, is that no one should be able to hold you hostage to their mental illness. Right? No one should be able to hold you hostage to their mental illness. Which means if someone is weaponizing their mental health to excuse bad behavior, boundaries have to be set.
Because now that is abuse.
It is abuse.
You are a punching bag.
And you got to stop that.
And that is not your job to be nobody's punching bag.
So you also have to be able to feel comfortable setting those boundaries. Another thing that you should do is educate yourself and your person on what those mental health issues can be. One thing that I am over, babe, I'm so sick of people using mental health terms in a callous kind of way. If I hear one more person say they're getting gaslit, if I hear one more person say, "Woo, honey, he a narcissist," if I hear one more person say, "Oh, they ADHD," these are real mental health diagnoses. Being gaslit is a very, 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 very specific thing.
It is.
Being gaslit means that this person can make me not believe what I know to be true. And it's a form of abuse. It is not somebody...
Mr. Mandela effect.
Like,
it's abuse.
Like, come on now. Everybody ain't gaslighting you, honey.
No, not at all.
Every ex of yours is not a narcissist. Come on, can you be accountable a little bit? This much, right? I know I'm being hard on y'all right now, but listen, educate yourself. Now, if you are dealing with somebody who is truly bipolar and not just somebody who moody, and you sitting up saying, "Oh, honey, they so bipolar." Bipolar is not an adjective to describe somebody's actions. It is a diagnosis. And the only way you know that somebody is bipolar is that they have been diagnosed by a professional, not by you.
And if they have been diagnosed, your whole job is encouraging them to stay on that medicine. If you're going to live any normalcy with this person,
I know you would tell them to run.
Don't.
No.
I'm playing. No, encourage them to stay on that medicine. If somebody's been diagnosed with something, they were diagnosed for a reason. Okay, you may need to get second or third opinions.
Yes.
But if every one of them opinions equal up to be the same, stay on that daggone medicine. Okay? It's to help you, not harm you.
And many times it's a chemical imbalance. So the medicine is helping to regulate the chemical imbalance that may be there.
Absolutely. If Dr. Seavey got something for it, check it out. We don't know.
Thank you. Baby, you always in my head.
Come on, homie.
You live rent free. I'm not saying that it has to be something that is like, manufactured from the pharmaceutical industry.
It could be the root out of Indonesian trees in the forest.
Get it. And if it just means drinking more water, do something, but stay on whatever that is, but educate yourself.
Also highlight that healing takes time, okay? And it's important for us as partners to be patient with each other. We always preach about giving grace. Okay, listen, when we start going through these changes, it's basically an evolution of maturity a lot of times, right? When we were growing up, we had these growing pains, your knees, your ankles. Women started budding. Things started happening.
Yeah.
Put warm butter on them. You know, but you know, at the end of the day, these things have growing pains, and we got to get used to it until we fully mature into these new balances in our lives, right? So be patient with one another.
Yeah.
And you know, when we realizing that there is something really going on, man, we have to turn on a whole different level of empathy towards one another, man. You know, for when you find out, it's just like finding out somebody has a tumor.
Yeah.
Somebody has cancer. Man, your heart changes. Your level of thought about them changes. Like, well, dang, I thought it was just such and such.
Right.
No, I couldn't do these things because now we realize it was something physically wrong.
Yes.
And so physically can be equally mentally
right.
Damn, I'm sending thumbs up.
Yeah.
I
didn't know.
Yeah, I'm doing
why
the thumbs
do
up.
that? I don't know why it's doing that.
I'm doing it.
It's not, I don't want to let you do it.
Come on, man. Give me the thumbs up, dude. I ain't mean thumbs down. Anyway, so, you know, it could be mentally debilitating.
Right.
Okay? And it can be crippling. So let's be patient with one another, man. We start realizing these things about each other, okay? Anyway?
Also, celebrate the small victories.
Yeah.
You know, one thing that we got to remember in relationships, if the only thing that your person hears you doing is catching them when they doing something wrong,
Gotcha.
and not catching them when they doing something
Did
right.
you fart? Hey, farting is a sign of love.
No, it's not. Women, don't do that. Don't do that. Go into your private.
Baby won't do it in front of. I be trying to catch her, man. Like,
No.
what you in there doing?
I'm not.
Nothing.
Don't worry about it. It ain't your business.
She's so ashamed.
It's not your
Oh
business.
my God, you're such a lady.
But you want to make sure that you are celebrating your person all the time, man. You know, I always tell you that you look good or that I got a crush. And I'm never lying about it.
No,
like, it's just
she
how...
lying. She
ain't lying. But also, when you do certain things, I like to make sure I tell you, hey, man, I remember I told you not too long ago, baby, you wake up at 4 o'clock every morning. Every morning. And I know why. Right? So it's important for me to say, thank you. Thank you, baby. Thank you for sacrificing that for us, for our family. Thank you for showing up that way.
Right.
What can I do to make that easier for you? You need some different snacks? What can I do to make sure I can continue encouraging that? I know your snacks. So always be aware of those small things that a person does on either side. It's the small wins, they matter.
Yep.
So I want to make sure that you guys are thinking about how you're showing up for each other.
Guys, we can take control of the narrative, man, and we can lower these numbers of these self-inflicting wounds, you know, by showing up for each other. All right, so we're going to get into the segment of the show where we have questions. We have people that will call or leave messages, and that's been pretty cool.
It has.
And also the emails that we've been getting with just questions. Y'all
and y'all, please keep them coming.
Yeah.
We don't get to everybody's, but please go to lovejonescoaching.com. You can send us inbox messages through Corey's or mine. If you have questions, please give us a call. The number is, or you can text the question.
615-979-1241.
And you can text your questions there. All right.
All right, so...
You don't like giving names, so you don't have to.
I ain't gonna tell
you can try.
My guy is feeling overwhelmed at work and hasn't been able to express his stress to his lady. And she says he often retreats in silence, which leaves her feeling confused and worried. She tries to approach him by asking gentle questions, but he struggles to articulate what's going through. This was the perfect show for you. Today was the perfect topic, you know, and I hope we've given you some tidbits on how to approach this. We have to be gentle with one another, you know, and give him some time. And like we just said, patience. You notice that something's going on. You know something's not, his normal routine, give him some patience. And if you are somebody that he feels like and you represent it to be somebody that he can trust me, he's gonna come back around. But be that gentle voice. You know what I mean? Ask him, baby, you good? Is there anything I can do? You know? And don't turn that into something to where you feel like it's an attack on you. All right?
Oh, that's a good one.
Don't own that because it has nothing to do with you 9 times out of 10. Okay? Now, also, give him that time for that to be his turn. A lot of times, it bothers us when we can't get to the root of what's bothering our person. And once we don't get what we want, now we feeling some kind of way. So now we got 2 immature people acting some kind of way. Or one person that was being mature about it saying, I'm just not ready to talk about it. And now you've taken ownership and now you feeling some kind of way. That's not okay because we just added fuel to a fire that was already brewing. Patience. Give him time. Just be that sweet, kind voice the way he knows, I know when I'm ready to express myself, I know that she's available. And that's my person. That's who I'm going to divulge this to.
One other tangible thing I would recommend that I've gotten feedback on from several of our viewers and listeners, they use us a lot.
How you get
I don't know. I don't know. That was a lot of fireworks. I don't even know. I don't know what happened.
How when she say something, she gets the fireworks. I get the thumbs down.
Oh my God. You get fireworks too.
I get the fireworks. All right, my bad. I like it. I don't
know what happened.
I got the fireworks.
Listen, people use our show to spur conversations.
It escorts
it in. So I would tell you, if you're finding it hard to broach a subject, you can always throw us into the mix and say, man,
I was listening to crazy light-skinned dude.
Right. I was listening to Corey and Mia, and they said this thing, and I thought, dang, man, I might be doing that to you. So do put it on yourself.
Right.
Man, I might be asking you too many times what's wrong.
Right.
Am I doing that? The reason why I'm doing that is because such and so. But man, I'm sorry, but whenever you feel comfortable talking, you can talk.
Use us to usher in your conversation.
Listen, people do that all the time, and we are here for it. The second one, she's been feeling increasingly anxious about losing her job, and she finds it hard to talk about it with her person. And he's noticing the mood changes and tries to create a supportive environment by suggesting that they talk. But she usually brushes him off, and now he feels helpless again.
Patience.
And you know, it's not just patience. I do want to encourage people not to give up. Like, keep on showing up. You don't have to do it repeatedly in the same day, but the next day circle back around and say, hey, I know you didn't feel like talking about it yesterday. I'm just checking in again.
Right. And you know, I think a good temperature gauge to make sure that it's not something about your person. Do those things that we were telling you about doing. Take that shower together. Have some closeness with each other. You know what I mean? So that's also ushering in the conversation when they're ready. You know what I mean? Just like you said, man, I get up 4 o'clock every morning. I'm out. I'm going to grind and get it, right? But at the end of the day, if I am feeling something, we don't never break routine at home. We're going to take that shower together. We're going to get in bed together. You know, it's those simple things, man, that will always give that caveat where you know we good.
Listen, routine can be the healing balm to a lot of things, because routine means you can count on it. And sometimes in a world where you feel like you can't count on nothing, you can count on that routine. And I will tell you, I did get a question about 2 weeks ago. We didn't do the show, but someone called me and said, been reading the book, loved it, and because you brought up the shower, that's why I want to bring this up. They said that is not what's happening in that shower. That is not what's happening in that shower. But they said, what if the shower is not an option? Okay? It can be for any number of reasons, right? So us getting in the shower together is not an option, but I did love what was happening there. It was just this closed off space. What do you recommend if it can't be that? What I'll tell you is close off 15 to 20 minutes where you put your phones down, you turn the TVs off, you turn everything off, and all you are doing is focusing on your person. And during that focus, if you are, putting lotion on their back or, just whatever, that time should be a time that is just washing off everything that's going on around you and for you all to just be together and to bond. And so if the shower is not an option for you, it's just important for you to take up space with one another that's completely uninterrupted and unabridged.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. We're going to save these others.
Okay.
But, just want to really circle the block and just make a strong emphasis on being there for one another.
Yeah.
We do have resources, y'all. We do have these prevention hotlines. We have these marriage and relationship groups. We have singles groups. Let's utilize them. If social media has the power to put out negative, it also gives us the power to put in some positive.
Yes.
Okay. So let's use it. Let's use it to our advantage. Let's join these groups. Men, man, go to Ty Garth's platform, Ollie. Only live life in excellence. That's a group of men that are guiding these young guys. We have sons. We have little guys in the neighborhood that we can, adopt pretty much. You can be the neighborhood hero, we have it's just so many resources that we're not utilizing. And we see them pop up on our social media. Join it. It's not going to cost you a thing. You know what I'm saying? And be active in these groups. Yeah. Okay? Post something. I like to laugh too. Y'all see I'm silly all the time on here. Post something silly on Love Jones. Yes. Post something silly on Marriage Club. Post something silly on, get involved. You know what I mean? We all need that pick me up in the middle of the day sometimes. We never know that one post may have broke the ice for somebody that day and changed their whole outlook for the rest of their day,
Also, random acts of kindness. Back when I would go to Starbucks, it would happen every once in a while.
Somebody would pay
for my coffee. And when I get up there, they're like, hey, yours has been paid for. And so I take out my card and I'm like, okay, well, get the person behind me. Opening the door for somebody. Just saying, hi, you look nice today. Right. You never know. I have a t-shirt or a sweatshirt that I bought on TikTok. And it said on the back, to the person behind me, you are important, you're loved, you're needed in this world. And I can't tell you how many people would stop me and say, man, thank you so much for wearing that. I needed to see that today. So when you're out and about in the real world, take a second out every day. Even if you only talk to one person, be the person that encourages them to keep moving forward. And
don't overlook your wins.
Yeah.
That was a win. When somebody saw that, that was their win for the day because they needed that.
Yes.
Let's not overlook it. We think these wins are always big and with fireworks. Like my thing don't hear. Come on, do it again. Do it again. Do it again. Right, do it again.
I don't know how it happened the first time.
It does it like this. Like you gotta.
There you go. There you go.
Not that one. I want the firework. Anyway.
Okay.
Let's not overlook our wins, man. It may not be, somebody showing up at the house with balloons and fireworks and all that good stuff, man. But that's a win. When it change your attitude into something positive, man. Take that win, cherish that win, and go with it.
And finally, cherish your person. When he said he would go back and probably talk, I told him, I'm scared for you to go back because when I watch the movies that you forced me to watch for futuristic and aliens and scary and all of that, every time that they go back in the future, if you change one thing, it changes everything. And what if we don't meet? That would be horrible for me because I got me one right here, y'all. I truly have everything that I need because I have him beside me. And I'm grateful for it. And so when you have a solid person, make sure that they always know it. Make sure they never wonder. Make sure that they always know that they're important to you. Because in those hard moments, I want him to say to himself, man, I got this little girl over here and she will be in complete shambles. So I need to always do what I can do to preserve this. I preserve this. Right. Preserve the goodness that's in your life, and starting with your spouse, your person, your children, your parents, your spouse first. And everything else will be in order, in line, the way that it should be. Right.
Listen, man, if didn't nobody tell y'all today, we're going to say it right now. We love you.
We love you.
All right? Don't care who you are. We love you.
We love you.
All right? Be okay with asking for forgiveness. Be okay with forgiving. All right? It starts there. Let's start out fresh, man. You know, let's be accountable. Let's be accountable for our own actions. Let's be very responsible with our movements, man. And love hard.
Yes.
And don't be afraid to love. Listen, man, I think this has been a really dope session.
It has. Let me do some housekeeping.
Come on with it.
If you are interested in getting some coaching from me and Corey, please go to www.lovejonescoaching.com. You can sign up for a free consultation there.
Price can get you.
Yeah. Well, no. You sign up for a free consultation there, and then we'd love to talk to you about how to live your best life, whether you are in a relationship or you're single, coming out of a relationship, going into the next one. It doesn't matter. We have something for you. If you don't have the book, I encourage you to go to Amazon or to lovejonescoaching.com, but it is available on Amazon. The name of the book is Audacious Intimacy. Which is your 30-day guide to creating intimacy in your life. So just search Audacious Intimacy. Anything else?
Nah, man.
We're
going to the little joint tonight. We're going to go rock out. It's the, what is it called, babe?
The hip-hop opera.
Is it opera?
No, it's...
Hip-hop, no, it's an orchestra.
Oh,
hip-hop orchestra.
Yeah, hip-hop orchestra.
T-Pack, you ain't got the tickets, man. Y'all will see us there.
Yes.
Hey, man, we're going to be out there sweating. She going to sweat her half.
I am.
It's going down.
Love y'all.
Love y'all. Y'all be good to each other. Hugs,
kisses,
all the things.
See you later.